Hello?
Dallas still stinks.
I asked after week 6 when the Eagles beat the Carolina Panthers. I asked that following Sunday. What are you scared of in the NFC? Some of you got a little hostile. Some of you told me that I was getting ahead of myself. You know, I listed the teams. Seattle. Ew. Seattle. Without freaking that O-line right now? Ew. Philly 500 is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. Again, I ask you, who are you scared of in the NFC?
Nobody. Nobody. I'm not scared of anybody under the right circumstance. If we're talking about number 1 seed, home field advantage, I'll take anybody on any day of the week, anywhere, as long as it's in Philly. I have no problem with that. But at home, no. I'm not really scared of anybody at home. On the road, there's a few teams I don't want to play. Put it that way.
Yeah. But the question I asked in week 6 was, if they have home field advantage throughout the NFC, who are you scared of? And I don't think there's nobody in the NFC right now that I'm scared of. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers would be the only team. And guess what, Aaron? He's not playing right now. So, all right. So this is going to be like a little game of Tinder, all right? So list a couple teams, and I'll just kind of show you guys. All right, Minnesota Vikings, Case Keenum. When he's pressured, here's a deer in headlights. Swipe left. Saints. Yeah, stinks. The Saints. Okay, the Saints come marching into Philadelphia. They're pretty good right now. They have, good quick passing game with Drew Brees, solid offensive line. But I don't think their defense can hold up. Swipe left. Next. Stinks. Next. We've got, who do we got in the NFC South? Or the NFC West. All right, the Rams are right now the top team of the NFC West. All right, this is another team. You have a second-year quarterback. He gets a little bit more flustered than Carson Wentz. You can pressure him. Yes, you can. He's another deer in headlights. I wouldn't trust him in a playoff game. Swipe left. Next. Stinks. Next. Who do we got next? The Seahawks. The Seahawks. Without Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor's out. Oh, no more Legion of Boom. That offensive line stinks. Swipe left. Stinks. Stinks. Who's next? Who do we got? The Panthers. We already beat them and the Reps. Stinks.
Stinks.
Swipe left. Who do we got? Atlanta. Okay, I'll say this about Atlanta. It looks like they're kind of flipping a switch right now, and they do have a recipe to beat us. The way to beat Philly, I think, right now is this. You got to have a great offensive line that you can protect your quarterback so you can go downfield, and you have to have a franchise quarterback. They have both. I don't know if their defense can hold up because the Eagles will put up at least 30 on them, but that's a team that, okay, maybe. But at the end of the day, we beat them last year, and we kicked the shit out of them. Swipe left. Next.
Thanks.
So what do you think about all that?
I agree. I concur. I would say that there's none of those teams can beat the Eagles in Philly. No question about it. The thing that you have to worry about, the only thing that I would be worried about is playing in teams where their home field is really tough and then putting Carson in that position where he's never been before. That would be, my biggest fear. So I would say, like if you had to go to New Orleans would be a tough place to play. Seattle would be a tough place to play. We talked about LA. LA is like, I don't even know if they would have home field advantage in LA.
It's like a neutral field.
Yeah, and then Atlanta would scare me, but there's no way Atlanta's going to be able to come out with this number 1 seed where they're going to have to go to Atlanta. So if we face Atlanta, who I think at the start of the season probably was the best team on paper in the NFC, they'd have to come to Philly. There's no chance that they could catch them in terms of seeding. So I would say the biggest threat that you have to worry about right now would be a position where the New Orleans Saints get home field advantage, get the number 1 seed, and you have to go to New Orleans. That would probably be my biggest fear.
Yeah, and that's why the next thing we're going to do on this show, we're going to go down schedule by schedule. You know, we're going to forecast a little bit. I know some of you guys who like to take it one game at a time. I don't care. We're not suiting up. We're not GMs. We're not coaches. We are fans, just like every one of you. So it's okay to look ahead. I mean, Howie Roseman and the Seattle Seahawks, they did it at the trade deadline. The Seahawks, they added Russell Okung because, well, they knew that our pass rush was ferocious, and that was a way that they, needed to upgrade their roster to combat us. GMs, they look ahead. They all look ahead. Everybody looks ahead. You just don't want to say it, I guess. I don't know. But that one game at a time thing, it is kind of bullshit.
It is. Look, you're a fan. You're supposed to enjoy it. Look at the possibilities. I look ahead every week, every day, every second. From the moment the schedule comes out, I'm already looking ahead, right? When you do a prediction video of the whole season, you're already looking ahead. Now, there's nothing that I can say or do that is going to affect the outcome of that game. So looking ahead to me is perfectly fine.
But you jinxed them. You jinxed them.
Well, I've been jinxing them my whole life then because they never won. So it's not going to stop. I'm sure I'll do something that will jinx them any other way. But the truth is, me and you, since the Chargers game, have been talking about running away with the division and being in this position of 1 or 2 seed. And people are like, no, you can't do it. That's too far ahead. You can't do that. Well, now we're here. The division's over. So you have to focus on the playoff picture. That's the only thing left. We're here. It's time. Yep. So it's perfectly reasonable to go to look ahead right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can normally tell like around week 4 to 6, like who are the real teams in the NFL, and that's why I do this whole thing with the notebook and all this stuff that I do, and it's funny because the Chiefs right now are kind of like in a free fall. And the funny thing is like when you look at my scoring system, it shouldn't be surprising at all because there were a couple games where they won and they didn't actually win the scoring system. This was New England. This game where they won by 15 points and my scoring, it was 91-91. The Bills were another team that weren't scoring well in my system. You know who is scoring well? The Eagles. You know who else is scoring well? The Rams, the Saints. So those teams are definitely legitimate. The Seahawks have been kind of strange this year. There's just something weird about them. I think they're not really going to be a factor at the end of the day, to be honest with you. But we'll see if I'm right or not. Yeah, man. I mean, the NFC isn't that good.
No, it's not. It's wide open for a lot of teams, and I think Seattle's loss last night really hurt them because now if they beat the Eagles, it's not going to affect a tiebreaker with Seattle. Seattle kind of really is falling behind with all their injuries. I think the NFC is wide open, but there's only 2 or 3 legitimate teams I think that can make a run. I think the Eagles, obviously. I think the Rams. I think the Saints. Now, I'm not a believer in Minnesota. I don't believe that the quarterback they have in the playoffs is going to win. A quarterback like him in the playoffs usually lose, and they usually stink when they get to the playoffs. So I think Atlanta is the one team that is a sleeper because they're the kind of team that could go on a run from a wild card position, I think. And look, like you said, Aaron Rodgers is out. When Aaron Rodgers went out, everything opened up because he's the one guy that I think could go anywhere and be hot and just tear anybody up. And with him out, I think that's a big deal.
All right. So the thing that we're going to do right now, we're going to look at some of these top teams and we're going to go schedule by schedule and see if any of them can put up, say, 12, 13 wins. Because at this point, after beating Dallas, the Eagles, how many more losses are they really going to have? I mean, we're looking at 13-3, maybe at a minimum. So are any of these teams, can any of them put up a 13-3 mark? 12-4 is like probably the worst I can see the Eagles going at this point. But yeah. I think it's going to be I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think we're losing a game the rest of the year. All right? That's just me. But we'll get into these other teams, okay?
The rest of the year.
Yes, the rest of the year.
Rest of the year.
The rest of the year.
Rest of the year.
Yeah, the rest of the year. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The whole year.
The whole year.
The whole year.
Everything.
I got it.
I didn't say the S word, did I?
No, you didn't. You just said the rest of the year. You said the R word.
Yeah, I said the R word. So there you go. All right. So the first team we're going to look at is the Saints, since that seems to be the team that everybody's worried about. So their schedule gets kind of difficult coming up. And just to kind of rattle off who they've played. So they lost their first 2 games to Minnesota, New England, and then they've been tearing it up ever since. They traded Adrian Peterson, really freeing up Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara. It looks like the old Saints when they had Pierre Thomas and Reggie Bush. Kamara is like a better version of Reggie Bush. So they beat Carolina on the road. That's when they really started coming out of their shell. They beat Miami, beat Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, and Washington. So it's funny. There's not really a lot of great teams on that schedule that they've actually beaten, except maybe Carolina on the road. So it's funny that I say that because I'm sure the Eagle haters will probably say the same thing to me. Well, who are the Eagles beat? Yeah, shut the fuck up.
If you look at the points per game for this guy that they played, the teams like they played Miami, right? They who else did they beat? The teams that they're playing, the points per game those teams scores are not a lot anyways. So you really wonder their defense. They beat Detroit, but Detroit scored like 30-something points on them. And then the Redskins really should have beaten them the other day. So, I don't know how great their defense really is. And if Lattimore's hurt, that hurts them.
Oh, absolutely. Lattimore is a huge reason why that defense has gotten better for them this year. So their schedule is about to get real difficult coming up because I just listed a bunch of cupcakes, man. Miami, Green Bay without Rodgers, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Buffalo stinks right now. So a lot of cupcakes there. And they're not the margin of victory, as you were kind of saying, as like the Eagles have been beating teams. So you look at it this Sunday. It's right away here at L.A. against the Rams. They play Carolina at home. Then it's at Atlanta. So that is a really difficult 3-game stretch right there. So I'll say it again, Philly. At L.A., Carolina at home, at Atlanta. How many of those 3 games do you think they win?
I think they win 1. I think they win the home game. I think the LA coming off a loss is going to feel like they have to win, right? Especially having Seattle lost. So LA is going to be ready to play. I think LA wins that game. The Carolina game, even though Carolina's playing better now, I still think New Orleans at home, I'll take them at home. And then Atlanta's kind of, like you said, they're turning it on. And Atlanta could be a really tough place to play. Atlanta could be on a roll by then. So I'm going to say that they lose 2 more games right there.
Okay. I'm kind of in agreement with you because I look at the rest of the schedule here, and it's easier after that. So you got the Jets at home, Falcons at home, at Tampa Bay. So I think they lose 2 of those 3 during that 3-game stretch, but maybe they sweep the last 3. So that would put them at 12-4.
12-4, yeah. So I think that's probably reasonable, at this point. 12-4, but they would have at least 3 conference losses at the point.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So 12-4 for them. I think that takes them out of the running for a 1 seed because we're going to go 13-3 at least.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to have tiebreaker at 12-4.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Next team. We're going to look at the Vikings now. All right. So Minnesota. I will give them this. I really do like that defense. I like it a lot. They've got a lot of good players. Everson Griffin. You got the better Kendricks brother, even though Michael's having a great year this year. Xavier Rhodes, a great cornerback for them. They got Harrison Smith. So they got pieces for days on that defense. All right. So I'll list their first 3 games. Oh, boy. Oh, man. It gets real hard for them. At Detroit, at Atlanta, at Carolina. Those are their next 3.
At Detroit.
On Thanksgiving.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm going to say Detroit wins. What was the other one?
At Atlanta, at Carolina.
I'm going to say Atlanta wins. And I'm going to say they lose 3 in a row.
I'm with you. Yeah. And then this is going to be like the Saints because then it's a little easier at the end. Bengals at Green Bay, Chicago. So I think they go 3-3 the last 6.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So that's 11-5. No 1 seed for the Vikings.
Nope. They're not even getting 2 seed.
They're going to get maybe a 3. We'll see
Yeah.
what the Rams are right now. Now, obviously, the Rams lost to Minnesota this past weekend. So now I know the Rams. I think it gets a little difficult for them. Rams, Saints at home, at Cardinals, Philadelphia in the Coliseum. Those are their first 3.
I'm gonna say they win 2 and lose 1. I think they win the next 2 and lose to the Eagles.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think they beat the Saints. I mean, since I said it, the Eagles aren't going to lose a game the rest of the year, so that's a loss for them.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm having a little fun. So okay. So yeah, 1 loss. All right. So then their final 3 games at Seattle, at Tennessee, San Francisco.
What is it again?
At Seattle, at Tennessee, San Francisco at home.
Probably, I would say they win 2 of those games.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Seattle goes. Or not Seattle. Well, both of them, actually. Seattle and Tennessee. Tennessee has been a strange team this year. Their record looks like, okay, what are they, 6-4, I believe?
Right.
But they have definitely not played up to their potential of what they should be. And what a lot of people thought they'd be at the beginning of the season. A lot of people thought like 11-5, 12-4. I said 10-6 for the Titans. I wasn't as high on them actually as a lot of other people. I'm not really big on that coaching staff. I don't think Mike Mularkey is the coach for Mariota. I think he needs a new coach.
Yeah.
That's just me. So that'll be an interesting game to see if they can beat them. So they've got 3 losses already. You're looking at maybe 2 more. So that's 11-5. 11-5, 10-6.
Yeah, that's about right.
All right, we'll say 11-5 just for shits and giggles. All right, Seattle is next. Seattle, they play us very soon. I think their schedule actually gets a little easier at the end, but they already have 4 losses. So I don't think they're going to catch up to us, but we'll go through it anyway. At San Francisco, Philadelphia at home, at Jacksonville. Those are their next 3.
Oh man, I'm going to say they lose 2. I'm going to say they lose 2. I think Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville. I like what they're doing in Jacksonville. I think the Eagles in Jacksonville are going to beat them.
Okay, I think they win at Jacksonville, but I agree with you though. I like the Jaguars as well. That is a recipe to kind of beat the Seahawks, because that obviously that pass rusher there is going against that O-line. That's a crazy mismatch. The Jags are weird too. I mean, they're 7-3, but they play better on the road than they do at home. It's weird. Now, nobody goes to their games, but they just seem to play better on the road. So I'll give Seattle a win there, but a loss against Philly, because they're going to have no Richard Sherman, no Cam Chancellor. I don't think they're going to beat Philly. So that's 5 losses. And then to close the year, it's home against the Rams, at Dallas, Arizona. And I think that Dallas game is actually when Zeke Elliott comes back.
They're going to beat the crap out of Dallas. They stink. Dallas stinks. They're a one-trick pony. They stink, and we own them. But besides that, I think that they're going to lose to the Rams. So I'm going to say they beat Dallas. I think they win. They'll probably win 2 of those games.
You got like 9-7.
Hey, look, I think that loss last night to Atlanta hurt them. I think that was a big loss for them. I mean, that's 2 games where they lost at home. They're not the same team. You know what I mean?
Seahawks might be screwed, actually. Not like thinking about this, because I mean, you have 9-7. I have 10-6. They now don't have the tiebreaker against Atlanta, so that might be the battle for the 6th seed. They lost to them last night. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got a lot of injuries. I'm not buying Seattle, man. Seattle, with those injuries, I don't think that they recover. I think they boom down for the count. I love it. Sorry.
Okay. Carolina is next on the agenda. So first 3 games for them: at New York, the Jets; at New Orleans, Minnesota at home.
I got to put the sunglasses on for the Carolina, because we beat the crap out of Carolina. I'm going to say I'm gonna say they win 2 of those games.
Yeah.
I'll give them 2 wins.
They lost to New Orleans already this season. I say they split the one against New Orleans and Minnesota. So that's 1 loss. So that's 4 losses total. Their last 3 games: Green Bay at home, Tampa Bay at home, at Atlanta.
I'm gonna say they lose 2 of those games. I think they slip up and lose another one that they shouldn't. Somebody's gonna lose one of these last 3 games that they shouldn't lose. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. So I'm gonna say it's them.
All right. So that's 10-6 for Carolina. I'm gonna go with 11-5. I like the Panthers a little bit, actually. I like the way Cam's looking right now. It seems like he's kind of turned a corner. The defense is good. They do still have to kind of work out some kinks with the running game, but they've been actually using Cam Newton a lot more in the running game, so that's helping them. So I'll go 11-5 for them. So that's looking like a 5 seed right there. So you're looking at maybe a Carolina Rams wild card game. So we're going to take a look at Atlanta and Detroit. Those are the last 2. Green Bay is pretty much done at 5-5. There's no need to look at their schedule.
They're done. They stink.
Yeah. Detroit. Actually, no. We'll go Atlanta first. Detroit, I don't even know if they're going to be part of the conversation. Atlanta. Okay, for Atlanta, it's Tampa Bay at home, Minnesota at home, New Orleans at home.
I'm going to say that Atlanta wins 3.
I think they win all 3 of those, too.
I think Atlanta is the team that's going to get hot at the right time.
Atlanta is going to be the team to be scared of. Might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. 3-0. I really like the way they're playing right now. Then their last 3: at Tampa Bay, at New Orleans, Carolina at
home. What is it again? At Tampa Bay, at New Orleans,
and then Carolina at home.
I'm going to say they win 2 of those games.
Okay.
I'll give them 2 wins, maybe 3.
You got 11-5. I'm going to go with I'm just going to say they lose 2 of their last 6 games. They'll like slip up at one of those like at Tampa Bay or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'll put 10-6 for them. So 10-6, that's going to be the 6th seed for them over Seattle right now for me. But we're going to look at Detroit just real quick. We'll see if they're 6-4 right now. I don't think they're good enough, but we'll take a look at them anyway.
And they may sneak in a wild card, but that's about it.
Yeah, I would love for Detroit to make it, by the way. It would help. I mean, if you can knock Seattle and Atlanta out, that'd be great.
Right.
All right. Detroit. Minnesota at home on Thanksgiving. Remember, it's on Thanksgiving. That's huge.
That's a big, yeah.
That's like a bigger home field advantage for them.
Yeah.
At Baltimore, at Tampa Bay.
I'm going to say they win 2 of the 3. I think they slip up in Baltimore.
Yeah, I say they lose 1 of those road games as well. I'm with you. So that's 5 losses for them. Their last 3 games: Chicago at home, at Cincinnati, Green Bay at home.
Chicago at home, Cincinnati, and Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think they can win all 3.
I do too, but I say they'll probably lose at Cincinnati.
They'll probably blow 1 game that they shouldn't. That's typical of them.
So they're going to go 10-6 too, and they lost to Atlanta. So Atlanta would get in the playoffs.
Right.
So all right. So we actually have the same playoffs when looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
So Eagles are the 1 seed. Saints are the 2. The 3 seed is Minnesota. Minnesota has a playoff game against Atlanta. So we got Minnesota, Atlanta in a wild card game. And we have the Rams and Panthers.
The Rams and the Panthers. Okay. So I would say that I would think that Atlanta beats Minnesota. And then I would say, and then what was the other matchup? The Rams and
Panthers.
Rams and Panthers. I think the Rams win.
Okay.
And that means the Eagles would have to play the Falcons.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like I think the Panthers beat the Rams, but that's me.
Right. All right.
Okay. So yeah, so you're looking at a divisional game. Oh fuck, we don't want the Falcons to make the playoffs.
No,
right
the
now.
two teams that scare me are the Saints and Atlanta. I think they're the two threats. They got decent quarterback. I mean, look, the Saints have Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a threat anytime. Anytime Drew Brees is a threat. Drew Brees can keep them in a game. He can win a game. He's tough. Okay, Matt Ryan and Atlanta. They're explosive. So those are the two teams that I would be worried about. I feel much better if it's in Philly, but those are the two biggest threats. I think New Orleans first, and then Atlanta second. Those are the two teams.
And we're probably going to play both of them. Maybe.
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah. So we've got an Eagles-Falcons divisional playoff game, and you have Saints-Rams. I have Saints-Panthers. Would you say the Saints win?
Yeah, because it's in New Orleans. I think they beat both those teams.
All right.
So then you're looking at a Eagles-Saints NFC Championship game, because I think the Eagles will beat Atlanta at home. But I think it'll be a tough game.
That Atlanta game might be a classic.
Yeah.
Like 30-27, something at the buzzer, man.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup. Absolutely.
We don't want to play them.
Yeah. No, we don't. We should be rooting for Atlanta to slip up somewhere. And definitely.
So we want, basically what we want is this. We want the Panthers as the 5 seed and the Lions to knock off both the Seahawks and the Falcons.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so we just went through it, man. The whole schedule, everything, shebang.
Yeah, then you don't have to watch anymore. Everybody, you know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
We told you.
Don't be scared.
No, don't be scared. Be very scared. Be very scared.
All right. So, and then in the AFC side of things, the only team I would be scared of is those Patriots.
Well, the two teams would be, for me, the Steelers and the Patriots. Yeah. And I think one of those two teams are going to come out of the AFC conference in the Super Bowl. But the good thing is, if you play one of them, you're in the Super Bowl. So, look, at least you're going to the Super Bowl. But I would love nothing more than to beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. If you could beat Tom Brady, whoa, man, that would be classic.
Dude, that would be a passing of the torch moment.
Yeah.
If it happens. If it happens.
If it happens.
If. We won't say the word, just if.
No. If. Yeah. We're just looking ahead a little bit, that's all.
Looking ahead a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, Minnesota doesn't scare me. I know they have a good defense. They have a good running game. They will stay in a game. But as you know, in the playoffs, usually comes to defense and quarterbacks. How many times have we seen average quarterbacks who are playing above their head, they get to the playoffs and they stink it up. They lay a goose egg. I mean, how many Houston Texans quarterbacks and teams have lost in the first round of playoffs? Look at the Cincinnati Bengals. It just happens.
Andy Dalton is like the perfect example of this.
Yes. So Minnesota doesn't scare me. The Rams, I like the Rams. I like the way they're built. I like their coach. I like their quarterback. I think that the Eagles could beat them, but I think they're a tough team.
I agree.
But when you deal with Drew Brees and even Matt Ryan, when you deal with a team with a quarterback like that, they're a threat the whole game. They're a threat no matter what. I don't put anything past Drew Brees. So the Saints right now are exactly, I think they're the team you have to be worried about. If somehow they can fall out of a top 2 seed, that would be great. That would be great.
Now, the thing that's great about the Saints is they're really relying on their running game. And obviously the Eagles' run defense is so great that they might be able to, kind of neutralize that very easily. It is a good line, but, it's not something that scares me, like really scares me. Yeah. I think like Atlanta's line is better, so to speak. But it would be the quick passing game that I'm scared of. That's it for them. I mean, I think we could stop their running attack. Lattimore would take out Jeffrey, but that's okay because we have other weapons. So, yeah, I mean, I certainly like. Here's what I'll say: if we play the Falcons and they're red hot, it wouldn't surprise me if we lost, and then we'd hear it from everyone. We'd hear it from everyone.
Right.
Oh, well, the Eagles are frauds. It'd be the same thing as like the Cowboys losing the Packers last year.
Yeah. See, and the way I look at it is, if the Eagles, let's say the Eagles lost in the playoffs somewhere, you have a second-year quarterback who's learning and progressing and getting better and better. I don't consider it a blowing or a choking of the season. I look at it like we're playing with house money because we're a lot better than and a lot further ahead than I thought we would be. So to me, that's kind of how I see it. I don't see it like 04 when we're supposed to win the Super Bowl or 03. I see it like the first year when we got to the championship game against the Rams with McNabb and stuff. I see it as part of the progression. I think they're further ahead than I thought. So if we don't win a Super Bowl and we get to the NFC championship game or something like that, I can live with that. I can live with it. I don't want to, but I can.
Yeah. All right. So some people, I'm looking in the comments section now. Some people think Atlanta is not as good as people think.
The what?
Some people aren't buying Atlanta.
Hey, no. I mean, look, I understand it. They haven't looked great this year. But to me, when you look at Atlanta, they're a team that's been to the Super Bowl. And they're a team that going into the season, when you look at that roster, they're pretty good. They're pretty explosive. I would worry about them if they got hot, but I understand their point of view.
I understand their point of view, but it's also this, like the real teams emerge after Thanksgiving, and it does appear that they're ready to go. Now they're saying like they won last night because Seattle had an errant fake field goal. Now, whatever. They went to Seattle and they beat them. I don't know how you can not be impressed by that, even though Seattle had some injuries. So I think that's an impressive win. I mean, if we go to Seattle and win, are you going to say that's not an impressive victory now? Like that's like stupid to me.
Yeah, well, look, you win, you win. I mean, if Tom Brady doesn't get that tuck rule to go his way, does he win 5 Super Bowls? Sometimes you need a break or something to fall your way to get going, to believe in yourself. I mean, to get hot. So look, it could just be things are falling their way, and they build on it. I don't look at that like, oh, well, that's the only reason. So they're not that good. I'm not going to make an excuse why they won in Seattle.
Yeah. The people are saying that Atlanta chokes.
Well, maybe, but I mean. That doesn't mean that they can't come in and give us problems. If you're going to tell me, if we're trying to figure out who is the biggest threats, we're not saying Atlanta's going to beat us. I don't think they could come to Philly and beat us. I don't. But if we're looking and trying to figure out who the biggest threats, they're a bigger threat in my mind if they're hot and in the playoffs than a Minnesota. Than the Rams. I'm sorry, they just are.
I mean, I would much rather play the Rams and the Vikings and the Panthers than the Falcons. I think they have a formula because they can protect Matt Ryan to a certain extent. They have some good pieces along that O-line. They have a good quarterback. So I think they have a recipe to beat us. Now it's like, okay, so I get that the choke thing. I get that. But they did get to the Super Bowl last year. They got there. They beat the Packers in the NFC Championship game. Who did they beat in the divisional round? They beat Seattle, was it? I'm trying to remember who it was. But they beat teams that get to the Super Bowl. So they might have choked before, but they got there last year. Well, so sometimes when you kind of get over that hump, it changes things.
Well, and here's the other thing. You can't. When you're looking at Atlanta and the Eagles in the playoffs, you can't think of it as Atlanta right now. We're talking about an Atlanta team. If they met us at that point, okay, that would mean that they had to become red hot to get to that point. So you're looking at a team who has to be on a big winning streak going into the Eagles game with them. So don't think of Atlanta as Atlanta what you see right now. We're talking about if they went and got into the playoffs, if they got hot, people would look at them a lot different than they look at them right now.
Yeah, that's the problem is we're kind of projecting that they might get hot, and we're seeing it right now.
They have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we know, Dallas stinks and all that, but that was a statement win. The win that how they did 27-7. Obviously, the Eagles dominated as well, but to go to Seattle last night, it's a nice win for them. Yeah. They're 6-4 now, and it's getting to that Thanksgiving point of the season. This is when teams flip the switch. The great ones do. So maybe we're wrong. Could be wrong.
Hey, look, all we're looking at is who would be the biggest threats. Yeah. I don't see any other team but New Orleans as a real big threat, in my opinion. The only other team right now that I think could possibly be, and they might not be, but that could possibly be, would be Atlanta. That's it. Yeah. So, we're not saying it's going to happen. We're saying that if Atlanta went on a roll, they would be a threat.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah. But look, New Orleans is to me the biggest threat. When you have a team that can run the ball like that, their defense is much improved. And then you got Drew Brees. Yes, New Orleans flat out should be the biggest threat to me. Definitely. We don't want to go to New Orleans. We don't want to go to New Orleans and play.
Now, the thing about New Orleans, we'll see about this injury, because they right now have not updated his status. But he injured his left ankle on the first series of the game against the Redskins, did not return until the second half. He tried to play and, didn't really work out. So, I see that as actually a big reason why the Redskins won that game, or almost won that game, was Lattimore being out. I think Lattimore really makes that big of a difference for that defense.
Yeah, I agree. I know a lot of people have talked about Derek Barnett winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, but to me, you have to give it to Lattimore in New Orleans. He's been an absolute beast and a monster. For a rookie to play the way he is, man, he's something special. He really is.
Yeah.
And if Sidney Jones is like him, if he's similar, because I had Lattimore coming out of college better, but not by a lot. And if Sidney Jones is that, man, we're going to be set.
Yeah. Lattimore's a stud, dude. Like, when he was at number 12, I was just praying that he was going to fall. And
I know. Me too.
Almost happened. So, yeah, hey, biggest threats in the NFC this whole show, I'll tell you what. This conference is not like it's been in recent years. There's Seattle ain't Seattle. You're having these teams emerge that maybe might not emerge in a typical season,
right?
Like the Vikings or the Rams. Atlanta is the second biggest threat to me, but in any other year, they'd probably be like fourth or fifth. So that to me kind of trying to show you how down the conference is.
Yeah, not only the conference, but I think the whole NFL. Like, a lot of people ask to compare like the 2004 Eagles and this year's Eagles, and I think the biggest thing that's going in favor for this year's Eagles is I don't think there's a team like New England that was in 2004 or the Steelers back in 2004. I think everybody's beatable. So I think if you can get to the Super Bowl, you have a chance. If you can get to the championship game, you have a chance. I don't think the Eagles can't beat anybody in the league. I think it's wide open for not only the Eagles, but for a lot of teams.
Yeah. There is no elite team in the NFL.
No.
Maybe the Eagles are beginning to be that.
Right.
Even the Patriots in a way. This is not the same Patriots team that we're accustomed to. They are starting to turn it on. This is something that they do. They start slow and then they figure it out, and obviously they just kick the shit out of the Raiders. So they're getting hot too. So they're going to get the 1 seed and all that. We're looking at potentially a little rematch of 2004.
Yeah, I'm ready. I like our chances. I really do. I think we would have a good chance to go. It'll be interesting. The Rams also. Now, maybe, you know, losing the way they did to Minnesota, I see them a little different. I think the Rams are beatable, but they're a tough team. I think they're a tough team, but I think they're beatable. Yeah. And I think, like you said, I think the big question mark would be, you know, can Goff handle that pressure the Eagles would give him? That's what I would like to see. But I think the Rams are a sleeper wild card team. Yep. You know, not wild card to make it, but a wild card team where I don't know what kind of threat they are. Really, I really look forward to seeing them play the Eagles. You know, I think it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I like that point. I like that. They are a wild card. We really don't like. I feel like the Vikings would crumble, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know? But the Rams, we really don't know.
We don't know. They're dangerous, man. They're a dangerous team. It would not surprise me if they're a lot tougher in the playoffs than I thought that they would be. So, you know, the main thing of the whole thing is you have to get the number 1 seed. Number 1 seed this year is really important. It's really important.
You know what else needs to happen too? If anybody wants to beat us, there has to be a defensive coordinator out there that sets a blueprint. Is there a defense out there that can set a blueprint on the Eagles' offense? Yeah. Is there? Because we might have seen the blueprint for Kansas City when Dallas played them.
Right.
They haven't been the same since. So this happened to the Eagles, if you remember, back in 2010. They had that Tuesday night game against the Minnesota Vikings, and they figured out Michael Vick and the Eagles. Yeah. And after that game, the Eagles were not the same. Yeah. So that's the other thing to keep in account too. You know, I know how cocky we're all getting, including myself. We're very confident. But is there that one defensive coordinator out there that can figure Carson Wentz and this offense out?
Yeah. Hey, you know they're going to throw things at him, so we're going to find out. That's a big question mark. I don't know. I think Carson looks like, to me, he's pretty adaptable. It's just how quickly would he adapt. But you know, the thing with Kansas City is even before they lost to Dallas, they hadn't played good in a few weeks. Alex Smith has reverted back to his deke and dunk. When he was stretching the field and stuff, they were a lot more dangerous. But to me, he's looked like he's reverted back to old Alex Smith. So you're getting exactly what I expect. And Andy Reid teams always go through this ups and downs. You know,
very true. Yeah, that's very true. And the thing about this offense, it's just so versatile in terms of all the pieces and what you can do. Because you can throw it underneath, you can go deep, you can go intermediate, you can run the football not only outside the tackles but in between the tackles, because you have guys like Ajayi and now Clement who can run the outside zone and sweeps and then blunt up the middle. So you can attack a defense in so many different ways. That's why this offense is so dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And then with the addition of Jay Ajayi, it just adds another dimension to it. I mean, what a great pickup for the Eagles. You know, that's gonna only help us in the long run. And I want to see him get more carries. I want him up to about 15 carries this week. I want him to get more carries.
Yeah. And you know what's funny, going back to the blueprint thing, even if there's a team that finds a blueprint, the Eagles' defense is playing so well right now, it might not even matter. Right. Because they have been stopping everybody too.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, the Eagles just need to continue. They need to lock up home field. That's the main thing. Get the number 1 seed, and then we figure out the rest later. You know what I mean? And you beat the Bears, and then you got 2 big matchups, Seattle and the Rams. Now, you win both of those, pretty much everything's probably going to be over. So, hey, just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll figure it out. I don't know that a team is going to be able to find a way to beat them like they did with the Eagles with Vic. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so that's it. That's our little NFC forecast. We played a little game of Tinder earlier. So we're doing that. Swiping to the left. Do you know what Tinder is?
I have no idea.
You don't want to know. So Tinder is something like Like I actually I really don't use it, but it's something where, how do I explain this? It's like a dating application, like for your phone, and you basically, if the girl's hot, you swipe right. If she's not, swipe
Oh,
left.
really?
Yeah, and sometimes you match up and you just talk dirty to each other, and then you never see them in real life.
I've never heard of it. Man, you guys have it easy today. We actually, back in my day, you had to go talk to a girl. Like, you had to go actually talk to her. Nowadays, they just swipe. What the hell is that?
Well, that's why I don't like Tinder, man. I like being that dick in the bar.
Yeah.
I'll just say like the corniest pickup line just to see what the girl's reaction is.
Yeah. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, and then I'll wind up picking her up anyway. I'll just ask my friend. I'm like, all right, what do you want me to say to this girl? And then he tells me, and then I do it.
Hey, that's how you have to do it sometimes, you know. That you just have to talk to them, you know. Even if you have to just go over there, if they have open toe shoes and so insult their feet, get them all insecure, and you got them. That's beautiful.
That's actually how you pick up women is insult them. Actually,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. You have to be a dick. That's how you pick them up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's your bitter Dingbats dating tip of the day.
Yeah, I think we should do a dating service, the Bitter Dingbats dating service, for all those who need help, all you youngins out there, wherever the hell you are.
All right, I think that's enough for the Tinder relationship advice.
You learn something new every day. I thought Tinder was some building block thing for kids.
That's great. That's great. Oh man, this is why I love you, man. This is why I love the Bitter Dingbats. All right, you got any final thoughts before we head out?
No. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy watching Dallas lose again on Thanksgiving, and then you know what? On Sunday we got to go take care of business and beat Chicago.
All right. Oh, by the way,
great holiday, huh?
I'm sorry for cutting you off there. I forgot to mention something. So there was something I read, and the author got this wrong, and I should have checked this after I did the video yesterday. So the author said the magic number is 2, and you know, he wrote in his article that if the Chargers win and the Eagles win, they clinch the NFC East, but that's actually not the case apparently. So the magic number is still 2, but the Eagles would have to win then next week too. In Seattle. Okay.
See, because I did a video yesterday.
It makes sense in terms of tiebreakers.
Yeah, I thought it was 2 also, but I said that in my video too. I thought it was 2 because I thought we would beat Dallas with a tiebreaker because they would have 6 losses, but I guess not. I don't know. That's fine. Jeez, wonder why that is. I guess Dallas hasn't played anybody else twice, right? I guess they only have 1 loss in their division.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, because they only have 1 divisional loss, and he still played. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I was wrong then too. So yeah, the Eagles got to win 2 more games.
Oh, dude, we never did a bitter Dingbat of the week. We never did a Dingbat of the week. Should we do one?
Sure. Yeah, we can do one real quick.
I don't know what to pick. I didn't think of one.
Oh, I'm gonna pick the Dallas Cowboys coach because he stinks. Because he had no adjustment, he had no game plan for that Eagles game. He had no idea what to do. They're a one-trick pony. As soon as the Eagles adjusted, he had no adjustment himself. I thought 2 weeks in a row, the Dallas Cowboys coach has done a horrible job. He's done a horrible job in game. So I'll give him Dingbat of the week.
Okay. I still can't figure out who I want to pick. You know who it is? You know who my Dingbat of the week is? It's Donald Trump and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell as well. Okay, so Donovan Mitchell, if you guys don't know, I'm sure you guys know by now, Joel Embiid trolled him beautifully for a technical foul. So what Embiid did, he blocked the kid's shot, stared him down. Donovan Mitchell got a little salty, gave him a little shove. Embiid flopped like a fish, and then he right after the play, he was signaling for the technical, and then he was waving on the crowd. So Donovan Mitchell, Dingbat of the week. Donald Trump, the reason why he gets Dingbat of the week. You played right into LeVar Ball's trap. You played right into his trap. All LeVar Ball is looking to do, he's just looking to stay in the limelight. He's just trying to market the big baller brand. And that's why at the end of his interview yesterday on CNN, he said, Donald Trump, have a happy Thanksgiving. Because he put him right back in the limelight. Donald Trump, Dingbat of the week for getting LeVar back in the limelight.
I didn't see the interview, so.
I didn't see the interview either. But if I'm sure you know about the story about so LeVar Ball's kid, LiAngelo Ball, UCLA, yeah. So they got caught with stealing and in China, and like Donald Trump kind of helped them out, you know.
Yeah, he did.
And then basically Trump got pissed at Ball because Ball didn't thank him to get his son. So LeVar trolled the president into getting put in the limelight again, so he could get an interview with CNN, so he could trend on Twitter again, so he can market his big baller brand. It's marketing genius 101, actually.
He's building his brand, that's for sure. You know, hey, what are you gonna do? All I know is that when it comes to that, Trump did help his son though, because in China is tough, man. China ain't like here. China will put your ass away, and that's 10 years in prison. You know, you don't want to be 10 years in prison in China. I'm sorry, but you know, it is what it is.
I'm sure LeVar Ball is like grateful in a way, but I know for a fact that he was doing this for pure marketing reasons.
Yeah, I just want to know why his son just he don't have money to buy glasses. I mean, what? Well, you have to have a lot of money by now. What do you just go buy them? Why you try to steal them?
Yeah, Lonzo Ball just got a big contract and Christmas is coming up. Just ask for a pair of Louis Vuitton glasses for Christmas. Lonzo will get them for you.
I know, seriously.
Idiot. Dingbat.
Yeah.
Dingbat. All right, so I'll let you have another final thought then. Then we'll go.
Just everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and enjoy the games. And then we'll see you guys next week.
There it is. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And dude, I love stuffing. I'm gonna eat a lot of it. And that's what the Eagles have been doing to defenses this year. Or offenses, stuffing them like a Thanksgiving turkey. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take care.
See you guys.